The moment you feel guilty because of someone else's words, you have officially become their slave. Let that sink in for a second. You're walking around every single day carrying the weight of other people's opinions like chains around your neck. And you don't even realize it. You think it's normal. You think it's called being a good person. It's not. It's called being weak. Here's a question I need you to answer right now. And be honest with yourself. Why do you let people with half your intelligence dictate your worth? Think about it. The person who made you feel small yesterday, what have they accomplished? What have they built? What gives them the authority to judge you? Nothing. They have nothing. But somehow their words still echo in your head. Somehow you're still replaying that conversation, that comment, that look they gave you. You're still trying to defend yourself in your mind. And while you're doing that, while you're wasting mental energy on someone who doesn't matter, they've already moved on. They've already forgotten about you. They threw their garbage at you and walked away, but you're the one carrying it around like it's treasure. That's the sick joke of it all. You're the only one still fighting a battle that ended hours ago that ends today. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact psychological dead switch that makes you immune to every insult, every judgment, and every shaming tactic ever devised. I'm not talking about confidence tips or positive thinking. I'm talking about something darker, something most people will never have the stomach to use. But you're not most people. You're here because you're tired of being pushed around by words. You're tired of people treating you like their emotional punching bag. So pay attention because what I'm about to show you will change the way you see power forever. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I am untouchable. Let's go. Number 1. Why they shame you. Before we get into the tactics, you need to understand the game that's being played. Shame isn't about right or wrong. It never was. It's about power. When someone tries to make you feel guilty when they call you selfish, cold, arrogant, or any other label, they're not giving you feedback. They're attempting to control you. They're trying to put you back in your place. They're trying to castrate your dominance. Let me break this down. Every single time someone shames you, they're conducting what I call a vulnerability audit. They're testing to see if you still need their approval. They're checking if you still care about belonging to the group, fitting in, being liked. And the moment you react, the moment you defend yourself, explain yourself, or apologize, you've just confirmed their power over you. You've told them, yes, I do care what you think. Yes, your opinion matters to me. Yes, I need your validation. And now they own you. This is the trap. This is what keeps most people locked in mediocrity their entire lives. They spend decades trying to prove themselves to people who don't matter, trying to earn approval from people who will never give it, trying to belong to a herd that will never accept them. Here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. You are only shamed because you want to belong. The person who doesn't care about fitting in cannot be shamed. The person who has given up the need for social approval is untouchable. They can call you whatever they want. It doesn't land. It's like throwing stones at a ghost. Machiavelli once said, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves." One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. You need to be both. You need to see the trap of social shame for what it is. And you need to have the strength to walk away from the herd. To be untouchable, you must give up the need to belong to people who don't elevate you. You're not part of the herd. You never were. You're the outlier. You're the one they talk about. You're the one they fear. And once you accept that, once you truly internalize that you don't need their approval, their permission, or their validation, they lose all power over you. Every single person who has ever achieved something great has been called names. Every leader, every innovator, every person who refused to stay small has been shamed by the masses. The masses will always try to pull you down. It's not personal. It's their nature. They're crabs in a bucket. And the moment one crab tries to climb out, the others pull it back down. Not because they're evil, because seeing someone escape reminds them that they chose to stay. So when someone tries to shame you, what they're really telling you is this: you're doing something I'm too scared to do, and I need you to stop so I can feel better about my own cowardice. That's it. That's the whole game. The question is, are you going to let them win? Are you going to shrink yourself to make them comfortable? Are you going to apologize for being ambitious while they celebrate their mediocrity? Are you going to let their insecurity dictate your destiny? Or are you going to see shame for what it really is? A weapon wielded by the powerless against those who dare to claim their power. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I need no approval. Number 2. The vacuum response. Here's where most people screw up. Someone insults them, shames them, tries to put them down, and they immediately jump to defend themselves. That's not true. You don't understand. The reason I did that was I'm not like that. Let me explain. Stop. Defending is losing. The moment you defend, you've accepted their frame. You've agreed to play their game. You've given them the power to judge you. And now you're standing trial in a court where they're the prosecutor, judge, and jury. You can't win that game. Don't play it. So, what do you do instead? You create a vacuum. You give them nothing. Let me teach you the most powerful weapon you'll ever learn. The void stare. Here's how it works. Someone says something designed to make you feel small. Maybe they call you selfish. Maybe they say you're cold. Maybe they try to embarrass you in front of others. And you do nothing. You look at them dead in the eyes. No expression, no emotion. Just for seconds of pure empty silence. You let the silence hang there like a knife. 4 seconds doesn't sound like much, but try it. Count to 4 right now without saying anything. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feels long, doesn't it? Now imagine doing that while someone is staring at you, waiting for your reaction, expecting you to break. Most people can't handle 4 seconds of silence. It feels like 4 hours. Their brain starts screaming at them. Did I go too far? Are they about to explode? Why aren't they reacting? Should I say something else? Should I apologize? Their confidence starts cracking with every passing second. And here's what happens in their nervous system, a submission reflex. When someone expects a reaction and doesn't get one, when they throw a punch and it hits nothing but air, their confidence collapses. They start to question themselves. They start to feel exposed because they just showed their hand. They just revealed that they care enough about you to attack you. And you showed them that you don't care enough about them to even respond. That's the power imbalance right there. You see, most people think power is about having the best comeback, the wittiest response, the most devastating counterattack. But real power is making someone realize their attack meant nothing to you. It's the difference between killing someone in a fight and showing them their weapon is made of plastic. The void stare works because it deletes the opponent's confidence. It makes them feel foolish for even trying. And it does all of this without you saying a single word. After those 4 seconds, you can do one of 2 things. Option 1, you walk away. You just turn around and continue what you were doing. You treat them like they don't exist. This is the nuclear option. This tells them, you are so far beneath me that engaging with you would be a waste of my time. I've seen this destroy people. I've watched someone try to start drama at a party, throw out an insult, and the target just turned around mid-sentence and walked to the other side of the room. Didn't say a word, didn't acknowledge it happened. The person who threw the insult stood there looking like a fool. Everyone saw it. Everyone felt the power shift. That person never tried again. Option 2, you respond but not to their attack. You change the subject completely. You act like they never said what they said. This is even more devastating because it shows them that their words didn't even register as important enough to address. Imagine someone says, "You're so full of yourself." And you just look at them for 4 seconds, then say, "Did you finish the report I asked for?" Or, "Are we still meeting at 7? You've just communicated something brutal. Your opinion about me is less important than the smallest detail of my day. Both options accomplish the same thing. You refuse to enter their frame. Remember this. You don't win the argument. You delete the opponent's confidence in having arguments with you in the first place. After you do this once or twice, people stop trying. They learn that attacking you is like punching a wall. It only hurts them. And here's the beautiful part. You never got angry. You never raised your voice. You never lost control. You just refused to play. That's real power. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Silence is power. Number 3, the frame reversal. Now, let's go deeper. Sometimes silence isn't enough. Sometimes people are persistent. Sometimes they really want that reaction from you. They need to feel like they got under your skin. So here's where you flip the script completely. I call this the monster strategy. If someone shames you for being ruthless, cold, selfish, arrogant, or any other negative trait, you agree with them. Not sarcastically, not defensively, You just agree. You're so cold. You're right. I am. You only care about yourself. Correct. You're ruthless. Absolutely. And then you say the most powerful words you'll ever learn. Now what? That's it. 2 words. Now what? Watch what happens. Their brain short circuits. They expected a fight. They expected you to defend yourself, to explain why you're not actually those things. To prove them wrong. That's where they get their satisfaction, from watching you squirm, from watching you care about their opinion. But instead, you just took their weapon and handed it back to them with a smile. Because here's the part they never see coming. The moment you own the insult, the weapon shatters in their hand. Think about it. If someone calls you selfish, and you spend 20 minutes explaining why you're not selfish, you've just proven that their opinion matters to you. You've given them power. But if someone calls you selfish, and you say, "Yeah, I am. I put myself first." Problem. What can they do? Nothing. They can't shame someone who refuses to feel shame. They can't make you feel guilty about something you openly admit to. They can't use your own insecurity against you if you have no insecurity about it. Let me give you another example. Someone says, "You're so arrogant." Most people panic. They rush to prove they're humble. I'm not arrogant. I'm just confident. There's a difference. Stop begging. Stop explaining. Stop defending. Instead, try this. Arrogant, maybe, but I'd rather be arrogant and accomplished than humble and invisible. See what just happened? You took their insult and turned it into a statement of power. You didn't deny it. You didn't defend it. You owned it and made them question their own position. This is what I call frame reversal. They tried to put you in the defendant's box and you just walked out and sat in the judge's seat instead. But we're not done yet. After you agree, after you own it, after you say, "Now what?" you deliver the counterattack. You hit them with the question. This is a question designed to expose their insecurity, to make them realize why they really attacked you in the first place. Here are some examples. Is your life so empty that you need to focus on mine? Do you feel better now? Does judging me make you feel less mediocre? Are you trying to convince me or yourself? Notice what these questions do. They don't defend you. They put the spotlight back on them. They force them to confront their own motivation. Why did they attack you? Because something about you threatens them. Because your confidence makes them feel small. Because your refusal to apologize makes them question why they apologize for everything. The question makes them face that truth. And most people can't handle it. They'll stumble. They'll backtrack. They'll say, "I'm just joking," or "I was just trying to help," or some other excuse. And that's when you know you've won. But here's the key. You have to deliver the question calmly. No anger, no emotion, just genuine curiosity, like you're asking them what they had for breakfast. Because remember, the person who stays calm controls the frame. If you deliver it with anger, you've lost, because now they can say, "See, you're too sensitive. I was just joking," and you got all emotional. But if you deliver it with calm curiosity, they have nowhere to hide. They have to either admit they were attacking you or admit they were joking about something that wasn't funny. Either way, they lose. Let me give you a real example. Let's say you're at a family dinner and your uncle says, "You think you're so much better than everyone else, don't you?" Most people would say, I don't think that. I'm just trying to wrong." Here's what you say. Better. Not just different. Now what? Pause. Let it sit. Then does it bother you that I'm comfortable being different? Watch him struggle. Watch him realize he just exposed his own insecurity. You didn't attack him. You didn't defend yourself. You just held up a mirror. That's the frame reversal. That's how you make people powerless without throwing a single punch. And here's what happens after you do this a few times. People stop testing you. They learn that trying to shame you only exposes their own weaknesses. They learn that you're not an easy target. They learn that attacking you is like grabbing a hot coal. They're the only ones who get burned. Your reputation changes. People start warning others about you. Don't try that with them. They'll turn it back on you. And that's exactly what you want. You want people to think twice before disrespecting you. You want them to know that playing games with you is a losing strategy. Not because you're mean, not because you're cruel, but because you respect yourself enough to not tolerate disrespect. Machiavelli once said, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." The same applies to you. The moment you stop defending yourself to idiots, you'll notice the quality of people in your life improves dramatically. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I own myself. Number 4. The untouchable identity. Now we get to the final level. This is where you transform completely. Everything I've taught you so far, the void stare, the frame reversal, the question, these are tactics. They work. They're powerful. But tactics alone won't make you untouchable. You need an identity shift. You need to stop seeing yourself as a good person trying to prove you're good. That's the cage. That's what keeps you vulnerable to shame in the first place. Think about it. Why do you care when someone calls you selfish? Because you've been taught that being selfish is bad. You've been programmed to believe that good people sacrifice themselves, put others first, always help, always give. But who taught you that? And why? Here's the uncomfortable truth. You were taught to be selfless by people who wanted to use you. Your parents wanted you to be obedient so you'd be easier to control. Your teachers wanted you to be compliant so you'd be easier to manage. Your friends wanted you to be generous so they could take from you. Your partners wanted you to be accommodating so they could have their way. Nobody benefits from your self-sacrifice more than the people who aren't sacrificing anything themselves. Let me tell you why. Because people who sacrifice themselves are easy to control. People who always put others first will never threaten the status quo. People who can be guilted into giving are cash machines for everyone around them. The good person label isn't a compliment. It's a leash. And the moment you reject it, the moment you give yourself permission to prioritize your own goals, your own time, your own energy, you become dangerous. Not dangerous in a harmful way. Dangerous in a powerful way. Dangerous because you can't be manipulated anymore. Here's what I want you to understand. The moral high ground is almost always fake. Let me say that again. The moral high ground is almost always fake. People don't shame you because they care about morality. They shame you because they want something from you. They want your compliance, your submission, your energy, your resources. Think about every person who's ever called you selfish. What did they want from you? Your time, your money, your attention, your agreement. Of course they did. They wrapped their request in moral language to make you feel bad for saying no. They made it seem like you were the bad guy for having boundaries, for having priorities, for having a life that doesn't revolve around them. That's manipulation. Pure and simple. And the moment you see through it, the moment you develop what I call dark intelligence, the ability to see through fake moral arguments, you become untouchable. Dark intelligence is pattern recognition. It's seeing the game behind the game. It's understanding that most people's moral outrage isn't about principles. It's about personal benefit. Watch how quickly someone's moral stance changes when it no longer serves them. Watch how the person who preached about loyalty will betray you the second a better option appears. Watch how the person who demanded honesty will lie without hesitation when the truth threatens their position. You start to notice patterns. You start to see that the people who talk the most about kindness are often the cruelest. The people who preach about compassion are often the most selfish. The people who demand respect are often the least respectable. It's all theater. It's all a game to control you. And you don't have to play anymore. Here's the formula for invincibility. High competence plus zero empathy for critics equals absolute power. Let me break that down. High competence means you're actually good at what you do. You deliver results. You solve problems. You build things. You create value. This is non-negotiable. You can't fake this. You have to put in the work. All the tactics in the world won't save you if you're incompetent. If you can't back up your confidence with capability, people will see through you, and they should. But when you're genuinely good at what you do, when you consistently deliver, when you solve problems that others can't solve, you earn the right to be selective about whose opinions matter. Competence is your shield. It's what protects you from legitimate criticism. When someone tries to tear you down, and you can point to your track record, to your results, to the tangible value you create, their words lose power. Zero empathy for critics means you stop caring about the opinions of people who haven't accomplished what you're trying to accomplish. It doesn't mean you're heartless. It means you're selective. It means you only take feedback from people who are where you want to be. Everyone else, their opinion is noise. When you combine these two things, you become untouchable. You're too competent to be dismissed and too indifferent to be manipulated. People can't tear you down because you're standing on a foundation of real achievement. And they can't guilt you into shrinking because you simply don't care what they think. You walk into a room and someone tries to embarrass you in front of others. They make a comment about your outfit, your choice, your decision. Everyone waits to see how you'll react, and you don't. You just look at them, give them the void stare for 4 seconds, then continue the conversation you were having before they interrupted. You don't defend. You don't explain. You just refuse to acknowledge their attempt at dominance. The room feels the shift. Everyone just watched someone try to attack you and fail. Your status goes up. Theirs goes down. Later, someone pulls you aside and says, "Whoa, weren't you hurt by what they said?" And you genuinely don't understand the question because you weren't hurt. You didn't even register it as important enough to feel anything about. That's the untouchable identity. That's what we're building here. This is what Machiavelli understood. This is what every powerful person throughout history has understood. Your reputation doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being respected. And respect comes from competence and boundaries, not from being nice. Machiavelli once said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Now, I'm not telling you to make people fear you, but I am telling you to stop trying to make everyone love you. Stop trying to be everyone's favorite person. Stop trying to get approval from people who will never give it. Build your competence. Set your boundaries. Protect your energy. And let the critics cry. Because here's the truth. The same people who shame you today will praise you tomorrow once you've achieved enough success. They'll pretend they always believed in you. They'll claim they were just trying to help. They're liars. Don't forget what they said when you were building. Don't forget how they tried to stop you. And don't let them back in once you've made it. I've seen this happen 1,000 times. Someone works in silence for years. They get mocked, criticized, told they're wasting their time. Then one day they succeed. And suddenly all those critics show up with congratulations and friendship. "I always knew you could do it." Not you didn't. You told them to quit. You told them it was impossible. You told them they were foolish for trying. But now that there's something to gain from the association, now that being connected to this person might benefit you, suddenly you're their biggest supporter. That's not support. That's opportunism. And you need to recognize it for what it is. This is the untouchable identity. This is what it means to be truly free. You're not trying to be good. You're not trying to be liked. You're trying to be effective. You're trying to build something that matters. You're trying to live on your own terms. And anyone who has a problem with that can watch from the sidelines. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I am unreachable. So, here we are. You've learned the void stare. You've learned the frame reversal. You've learned how to build the untouchable identity. But none of this matters if you don't use it. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. And I didn't make this video to entertain you. I made it to arm you. So here's what you're going to do. The next time someone tries to shame you, you're not going to defend yourself. You're not going to explain yourself. You're not going to apologize for being who you are. You're going to remember everything you learned here. You're going to give them the void stare and watch them squirm. You're going to own whatever they accuse you of and watch their weapons shatter. You're going to ask them the question and watch them realize why they really attacked you. And you're going to walk away knowing that they have zero power over you. People can only shame you if you give them permission. They can only make you feel small if you agree to shrink. They can only control you if you hand them the controls. So, stop handing them out. This isn't about being mean. This isn't about being cruel. This is about protecting your peace. This is about refusing to let mediocre people drag you down to their level. This is about building a life where you answer to yourself and nobody else. The right people will respect your boundaries. The right people will admire your strength. The right people won't try to shame you for being ambitious, for being direct, for being unapologetically yourself. Don't subscribe to this channel for more videos. Subscribe if you're ready to be dangerous. Subscribe if you're ready to stop apologizing for your ambition. Subscribe if you're tired of playing small to make other people comfortable. Because that's what this channel is about. Real power, dark strategies, uncomfortable truths. And if that scares you, good. It should. Power isn't for everyone. But if you're still here, if you've made it this far, then you're not everyone. You're different. You're ready. So here's your final command. From this second forward, if someone tries to shame you, don't get angry. Get even by becoming their superior. Be cold. Be untouchable. Show them that their words mean nothing, their opinions mean nothing, and they mean nothing. Not because you hate them, but because you've outgrown them. Build yourself into someone they can't reach. Build yourself into someone they can't touch. Build yourself into someone they can only talk about. Be the person they warn their friends about. Be the person they tell stories about. Be the person they'll never forget. And remember this, they can't break what they can't reach. Now go and never let them make you small again.